Good morning and welcome to the Buildings of Excellence Design Competition Round 2 Awards Ceremony. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Patrick O'Shea. I am a Director of Market Development at the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, also known as NYSERDA. I am proud to be here with you today in this virtual environment as your MC to recognize these exceptional projects. NYSERDA is New York State's clean and renewable energy agency. We invest in innovation to combat climate change, improve the health, resiliency, and prosperity of New Yorkers with the goal of delivering benefits equitably to all. Among investments in the clean energy future of our state is the Buildings of Excellence Design Competition launched in March of 2019. With round 1 winners announced in October of that same year. We are coming together today to announce and celebrate the impressive projects that have been selected for round 2 awards. This ceremony is about recognizing extraordinary green building designs, but more importantly, it's about you and your commitment to our shared climate goals in moving the industry forward. Carbon neutral buildings are an important part of our future, but their broad adoption hinges in large part on architects, developers, engineers, and climate activists like you. I ask you to continue to share information about Buildings of Excellence with your friends, colleagues, and community as we work to move one step closer to a future powered by clean energy, a future that we are investing in through initiatives like Buildings of Excellence. Today, we will recognize exemplary carbon neutral multifamily and mixed use buildings under 2 categories, early design and late design. The winners we recognize today are helping New York decarbonize its building stock and to set a new market standard for others across the state and the nation to aspire to, proving that economy-wide carbon neutrality is achievable and buildings are a crucial part. I'd like to thank all of the Advisory Council members, speakers, guests, and elected officials for joining us to recognize these exceptional projects and for their dedication to advancing our shared goals. To help everyone learn more about what Buildings of Excellence means, we'd like to direct your attention to a short video about the competition.
Buildings are responsible for 45% of all carbon emissions. Over 100 million square feet of new construction is built each year. We are changing how we build today so we can meet New York's nation-leading climate goals and create better buildings for stronger communities. We are improving our buildings' performance, reducing on-site energy use by enough to power 1.8 million homes, 85% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Through the Buildings of Excellence competition, visionary architects and developers are leading the way. This is the beginning of a cleaner future for all New Yorkers. Excellence. To be the absolute best. Excelling in every aspect. Forging ahead to a greater standard. To lead a nation. To transform an industry. To invent the outcome. State-of-the-art buildings brought to life. For New Yorkers. For our future. Propelled by the challenge to shatter the way it has always been done. We are high performance, low carbon, low impact, builders of excellence, showing that low carbon buildings can be affordable, profitable, beautiful, and great places to live. Buildings of Excellence, partnerships making New York's buildings cleaner and more efficient, making better buildings for better communities.
Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce New York State Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. Lieutenant Governor Hochul began her career in public service on her local town board before serving as Erie County Clerk and then as a member of Congress for New York's 26th Congressional District. Since 2015, she has served as the highest ranking female elected official in New York. As our Lieutenant Governor, she has successfully spearheaded numerous initiatives and leads the administration's economic development and job creation efforts across New York She works to champion policies to combat climate change and transform our economy through historic investments in clean energy. It is my pleasure to welcome Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Well, Patrick, thank you and your entire team at NYSERDA, led by our acting CEO and President Doreen Harris. And what an amazing group of individuals you are. I've seen your work. I've been at many of these events throughout the state, and it's such a refreshing for me to know that there's committed individuals, professionals like you that are working day and night to ensure that we do evolve into a clean energy economy, one of our highest priorities in our administration. And as I was at the last awards in 2019, able to announce the winners at that very exciting day, I had a chance to reflect on what Patrick, you just spoke about, is reimagining a different future. And what does that different future look and feel like? And that comes from someone who grew up on the shores of Lake Erie at a time when a large steel plant, Bethlehem Steel, where my grandpa and my uncles and my father had all worked. And we watched by night how the sky would glow after they had discharged this orange lava-looking substance into the lake, and then children would swim there the next day, myself included. So I come from an era when pollution was commonplace. You couldn't see driving over the Father Baker Bridge from Lackawanna to downtown Buffalo because you had to turn on your windshield wipers to push the smoke out of the way from the steel plant. And now, today, you talk about a future, on the same shores of that property are now wind turbines creating clean energy for us. And so I've seen the future in my own eyes, in my own community, and that is the future we need to have in every corner of this state. It also calls upon us to talk about resiliency and learning the lessons of when New York City, particularly Long Island, were battered by Superstorm Sandy, and the buildings were not able to deal with the stress. So when you build back, you have to build back with an eye toward how to make it more resilient and as well as energy efficient. And that's what this competition is. We love competitions in this state. We're always saying, bring the best and the brightest ideas. We'll put money on the table, you compete, and we'll determine the winners and then go forth and incentivize projects like these. So these can be the ambassadors out to the architects and the builders and the construction teams to say, look, you can do this. So I'm going to move on and talk about specifically this program here. We did the first series of awards in 2019. $18 million went to 28 projects. I know that there's ribbon cuttings going on as we speak across the state. Very exciting. And I'm really proud to be here today to recognize the winners of the Buildings of Excellence competition. And designing good environmentally sound buildings is not just good for the environment, it's also good for the residents. It's good for the well-being of these individuals as well, the businesses and the people who live in these buildings. This second round, we're going to recognize 14 winning projects. A total of $13 million will be awarded to these 14 projects across the state. This is the second round of our $40 million competition overall, which awards exemplary low carbon multifamily building design, which is a mouthful, but those in the industry know exactly what I'm talking about. We merged together architectural design teams, talk about resiliency, as I just mentioned, occupant health and low carbon performance. And as I said, we have incredible talent coming to the table to engage in this process. We're the only place that does it in the nation. We're always the first. We want to be an industry leader and let people know that we set the bar very high on our expectations as we build forth into a more energy efficient and a cleaner future for our children. So these top line on the projects, we talk about aesthetics, function, and sustainability, our favorite words in this business. We can achieve carbon neutrality without impacting the building design excellence. We're not talking about putting up ugly buildings here. I've seen enough of that from the 1970s, and I'm sorry to the architects of the 70s, that brutalist look, which is too much. I've seen it in downtown Buffalo, next to Frank Lloyd Wright buildings and Louis B. Sullivan buildings. Okay, no more of that, team, all right? Okay, no more ugly, okay? I think we know that there are certain standards that we can meet. Why not leave for the next generation buildings that they can admire, that have a legacy, have a story behind them, as well as being energy efficient? That's our challenge, and that's why we're embracing it and leaning hard into it. So we are committed to round two, which is awarding incentives for projects in 6 of our regional economic development regions: New York City, Mid-Hudson, Capital Region, Western New York, Finger Lakes, and Mohawk Valley. All these projects will be 100% electric, constructed at competitive costs, serve low-income customers, and have advanced ventilation systems. So through NYSERDA, we're investing over $6.8 billion to decarbonize buildings across the state. So we're going to continue renewing, reimagining, and rebuilding our state. And again, the timing such that when we last gathered, we had no idea that there would be a pandemic, this tsunami that just swept up our state. And now in the aftermath, we are called to think about what does the post-pandemic future look like? And we have not stopped our investments in important projects like these and all the projects that NYSERDA has been involved with, because we cannot afford to lose a single day in our quest to fight climate change and to make sure that New York State remains a leader. So we're going to continue our work in that area. And I just want to say to all the teams, the professionals at NYSERDA, you are doing work that is going to be remembered for generations to come. So thank you. Thank you from all of us in government. The people of this state will benefit from this. So we're talking about these initiatives, and we're talking about how to make sure that these projects go forward, continuing funding for them. And I want to make sure that we set the state on a path for a carbon neutral building stock, which is an 85% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. We can do it, even if we can shave a decade off of that. I mean, we're bold, we're aggressive. This is New York. This is how we operate. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you for the work you put into this. And thank you for working with us to set the standards very high, that the rest of the nation and other builders will look to and say, that is how you do it. That's how they do it in New York State. So NYSERDA, you are amazing. I love every one of you because you're out there doing the work that needs to be done at this time for our state and our economy. And I thank you. And so with that, I want to turn it back to Patrick to announce the winners. And again, thank you everybody for participating. This is going to be great.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hochul. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Doreen Harris, Acting President and CEO of NYSERDA. Doreen has held public and private sector leadership roles, advancing clean energy projects and engineering companies for more than 20 years. At NYSERDA, Doreen has held executive, technical, and policy positions, most recently as the Vice President of Large-Scale Renewables. She has overseen the state's nation-leading advancement of renewable resources under the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, including the state's development of offshore wind. And Doreen was instrumental in advancing legislation modernizing the siting of large-scale renewable energy projects across New York. Welcome, Doreen.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you also, Lieutenant Governor Hochul, for being here with us today in support of this exciting Buildings of Excellence competition and for your continued leadership in advancing New York's clean energy goals. I am Doreen Harris, the Acting President and CEO at the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA, the state's clean energy and energy innovation agency. I would also like to thank Yvette Brissette-Andre, Executive Director and CEO of Unique People Services, Ilya Azaroff, President of the American Institute of Architecture, New York State, and Rosalie Ginevro, Executive Director of the Architectural League of New York, for their participation today and continued partnership with NYSERDA, as well as all of our attendees for joining us as well. We have more than 300 guests with us today, an excellent showing of support for today's winners and New York's building decarbonization efforts. Their innovative, forward-thinking expertise is helping us move the market in support of the carbon neutral economy that we are building under Governor Cuomo's goals within the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. And last month, the National Resources Defense Council reported that switching to efficient electric heating systems and appliances powered by pollution-free electricity could cut carbon emissions in the United States by 1 billion tons annually, and is the most effective and economical way to eliminate the remaining greenhouse gas emissions from the building sector. This report adds to a growing body of research supporting the state's comprehensive approach to combating climate change and building an inclusive green economy that integrates wide-scale decarbonization efforts with clean, renewable energy. Our commitment to this work is what brings us here for the Buildings of Excellence Round 2 award ceremony, to recognize and congratulate the 14 awarded building designs and to showcase the dedicated designers and developers who will bring these concepts to life. But first, I want to acknowledge that this year has been truly extraordinary for our state as we continue to see the impacts of the colliding public health and climate crises that have rippled through our communities and our economies across the state. I am very proud to say that New York State has acted expeditiously in addressing both issues. The Buildings of Excellence competition launched in 2019, before we could have ever imagined what we are dealing with today, is a great example of work we already had in progress to integrate a resilient and healthy living framework into NYSERDA's portfolios and programs. And in just 2 years, the competition is yielding tangible results. In fact, just last week, our staff attended a ribbon cutting at Convivium, a 140-unit passive house in New York City, in a luxury apartment building that was a Round 1 awarded project. This milestone is representative of the state's investments in initiatives like Buildings of Excellence that are fostering more sustainable buildings across the state with on-site renewable power sources, energy efficiency, and electric technologies. And as the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, this competition is the only one of its kind in the United States that seeks out and supports innovative designs that not only combine form and function, but goes a giant step further to address health and wellness for residents, the people within the buildings, profitability for developers, and the carbon neutral performance needed to reduce harmful emissions. Shortly, we will hear how today's winning projects demonstrate some exciting progress and developments in clean energy for both new construction and retrofit markets, as well as for affordable housing, propelling us forward in our quest to achieve carbon neutrality. I'd like to highlight a few aspects of these astonishing and outstanding projects together. Most notably, 78% of the units to be constructed in Round 2 will serve low to moderate income customers. Additionally, the projects being recognized today demonstrate a lower average construction cost per square foot than Round 1 projects, meaning these designs and construction are being done cost effectively and cost competitively to traditional buildings that rely on fossil fuels, while increasing features and performance such as climate and building resiliency measures like natural shading, backup power for critical systems, and flood mitigation. 100% of today's awarded projects are carbon neutral, meaning they are highly efficient and are all electric for daily operations, serving as an achievable blueprint for the transformation our entire building stock needs to be emissions-free. This round of awards will also bring us to the first highly efficient all-electric skyscraper, which you will hear more about shortly. To be clear, this program is not just about building projects. It's also about building lasting partnerships that will help keep these efforts at the forefront of our clean energy transition efforts. And I'm proud to say that one of our partnerships with the Architectural League of New York has established a new recognition this year, the Blue Ribbon for Design Excellence, to recognize aesthetics, function, sustainability, and a project's ability to enhance the local community. These projects showcase for the market what is possible when you think holistically and push the envelope on what can be done through progressive design. You will hear more about that selection process from Rosalie Ginevro in just a minute. Realizing energy efficient and sustainable building design and construction is a cornerstone of Governor Cuomo's climate plan because the building sector is one of the leading sources of harmful polluting emissions in New York State. And this competition is a testament to our clean energy future and just one of many tools in our toolbox as we accelerate toward our nation-leading goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 85% by 2050. It also shows that we can and must transform the way we think about buildings because most buildings constructed today are likely to be in operation for 50 to 100 years. This long expected useful life of buildings makes it all the more important to find low and zero carbon building solutions now. And NYSERDA is working on a carbon neutral buildings roadmap with national experts and stakeholders to deliver guidance and best practices for how to achieve our goals at scale. NYSERDA is proud to include today's awardees as partners on this path to carbon neutrality. Together, we are part of a revolution, as each time we complete a Buildings of Excellence project, we move one step closer to a clean energy future for all New Yorkers. I challenge attendees today to consider being part of that revolution and visit our website to learn more about the many ways to lower your own carbon footprint, either at home or through your work. Sincere congratulations to our Round 2 awardees. I am so excited for these projects to move from their exceptional designs to the ribbon cuttings and occupancy that we will see soon. Thank you to all of our attendees and speakers for being here today in this virtual environment. Now we'll hear from a Buildings of Excellence Round 1 awardee, Yvette Brissette-Andre, Executive Director and CEO of Unique People Services. Yvette?
Thank you, Doreen, for that gracious introduction, and NYSERDA for awarding Unique People Services its first round Buildings of Excellence Award for our Safe, Healthy, and Energy Efficient Project 2050 Grand Concourse, located in the Bronx. I am proud to serve as the Executive Director of Unique People Services, a Bronx-based housing and health service nonprofit that serves New York's most vulnerable community for 30 years. At Unique People Services, we understand the various social determinants that can limit one's life expectancy and health. So throughout the design of 2050 Grand Concourse, we intentionally focus on features that would allow us to deliver a quality health services and provide safe housing that will last for generations of Bronxite to come. 2050 Grand Concourse is a mixed income building with up to 80% AMI residential unit, along with set aside for most vulnerable individuals and their family. It will also feature Unique People Services headquarters, open green spaces, and community facility that will activate a vacant portion of a vibrant commercial walkway along East Burnside Avenue in the Bronx. With the Building of Excellence Award and various NYSERDA programs, we were provided with upfront construction capital to ensure our sustainable, low energy, low carbon design feature, such as LED lightings, green roof trays, remained intact. We understand that low carbon features, which at times are challenging to justify with limited resources, however, in the long term, will result in operational cost saving and improved health outcome. Alongside reducing carbon emission, our overreaching goal is to demonstrate operational energy savings that is scalable, repeatable, cost-effective, and will engage future investments. In January of 2020, we welcomed the Lieutenant Governor to 2050 Grand Concourse groundbreaking ceremony. Although it has been a challenging year, we're proud to share that we successfully celebrated almost exactly 1 year to the date, our topping off celebration, and nearly 50% completion. We look forward to inviting back the Lieutenant Governor, Doreen, and your NYSERDA team to our ribbon cutting ceremony in spring of 2022. On behalf of Unique People Services Board of Directors, staff, individuals we serve, and all of New Yorkers, we thank NYSERDA for investing in a more sustainable and healthy future for all Bronxites. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette. As noted, a total of 28 projects were awarded in round one, and Yvette's Outstanding Project was one of them, and Lieutenant Governor Hochul attended its groundbreaking ceremony last year. We thank Yvette for all of her important work at Unique People Services and for being such an impactful ambassador for carbon neutral design and construction. Today, we'd like to reflect on some of the teams, individuals, and projects that made the inaugural round of Buildings of Excellence successful.
There's a saying to leave the campsite better than you found it.
We want to build a building of the future.
We want to build buildings that are going to be cutting edge.
We don't just have to reduce the amount of energy that we're using, we actually have to start going negative. We need to actually start taking that carbon out of the atmosphere.
This is doable, it's sustainable, and it's replicable. 2050 Grand Concourse, located in the Bronx. We broke ground last year, October. It was important for us to be a part of designing a building that will bring back the Bronx. The Bronx is booming.
It's a no-brainer. This is the way the industry is going.
There's so many people going to sleep without proper heat, and this is a way that you can give people thermal comfort and filtered air.
This is a 96-unit apartment community, family project with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments.
One of the benefits is to get off the use of fossil fuels and is taking the first step to building electrification that will really be able to work off the technologies of the future.
Sendero Verde is a 3-building, 800,000 square foot, 100% affordable housing project in East Harlem. It has a really robust community facility.
Linden 2 is out in Lindenwood, Brooklyn. It is an 8-story, 160-unit multifamily building, 100% affordable housing.
The challenges are very typical of any other type of project, but if you have the right team, you're able to overcome them.
In designing a green building, sometimes the upfront cost is more. Contractors present items that are cost effective. We had to make a decision to push back and stay true to our design.
One of the challenges going into this is we're going to have to find contractors who are willing to be trained to build this kind of construction.
I think it's great to see us finally embracing new technology for the better.
I hope that builders, developers actually start thinking diversity and inclusion, and that's all part of our responsibility in this industry.
What I really hope is that we can move high performance building from something that's like only achievable for a very small percentage of people and really move that and make it part of the mainstream.
Housing is a basic human right.
We're looking towards more vibrant, even stronger, even healthier and more equitable neighborhoods and communities. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
I feel very connected to something greater than myself. You know, we have a statewide climate initiative that's trying to really solve a big problem that the world is facing.
The Buildings of Excellence Award is great because it's incentivizing other architects to really be pushing the envelope forward. I'm really excited to see what happens in the next 30 years.
Now, moving on to the moment everybody's been waiting for, our awards presentation. New to round 2 this year, is a special Blue Ribbon for Design Excellence Award that is being given to a number of projects which have gone above and beyond on a number of design criteria, thanks to our expert panel convened by the Architectural League of New York. This is the first design award of its kind for our programs, and we are extremely proud that our partners at the Architectural League of New York have committed their time and talents to helping us include this special recognition. To tell us more and present the first 5 awardees, I'd like to welcome Rosalie Ginevro, who headed the Design Excellence Review and Jury. As an architectural historian and urbanist, Rosalie Ginevro is the Executive Director of the Architectural League. The League's public programs, publication, exhibitions, and research projects present the work of the world's leading architects, as well as emerging talents, and investigate and propose approaches to important issues in the built environment. Ms. Ginevro has led initiatives at the League addressing climate change, housing, schools, and libraries, among many other topics. She has served as a peer reviewer for the New York City Departments of Design and Construction, City Planning, Cultural Affairs, and Parks and Recreation, and as a critic and juror for many juries and prize competitions, including the inaugural juries of the Jane Jacobs Award of the Rockefeller Foundation and the Architectural Record Women in Architecture Awards. Welcome, Rosalie.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here representing the Architectural League, which has been working with NYSERDA to make overall design quality an important criterion for evaluation of the Buildings of Excellence projects. The Architectural League is a cultural organization that conceives and carries out all kinds of local, regional, and national programs on architecture and the environment, from lectures by leading international figures to mentorships for architecture students. Our mission is to nurture and encourage excellence in the design of the built environment. But what do we mean by excellence? We strongly believe that excellence in design requires bringing together responses to all of the demands that a building or a designed landscape must meet. Aesthetic quality is important, but certainly does not by itself comprise design excellence. Excellence is achieved through the synthesis of smart answers to questions, including how does the project respond to its natural and built context? What materials, structural system, and construction technology should be used? How well does the building serve the functions it's designed for? And are its spaces pleasing and comfortable for its inhabitants? Excellence also encompasses the attention given to resiliency, to long-term maintenance and general project longevity, and of course, the energy efficiency or energy production capacity of the project. All of these considerations must come into play in evaluating a project's quality of design. Responding to all of these demands simultaneously and effectively is hard, but that is what we must ask of successful projects and talented architects, because all of these questions, resolved well, create better projects that steward our collective resources and provide fitting, comfortable, joyful support for human activities. We brought together 5 accomplished jurors to evaluate the Buildings of Excellence submissions that were recommended for funding, to identify those that most effectively met the multiple criteria for design excellence that I just described. The jurors were Ilya Azaroff, who you will hear from in a moment, Andy Bernheimer of Bernheimer Architecture and the Parsons School of Design, who has designed a great deal of multifamily housing, Victor Body Lawson of Body Lawson Architects, Body Lawson Associates Architects and Planners, also a very active designer of market rate and affordable housing, Florian Eidenberg of So Ill, a Brooklyn-based firm with an international practice that ranges from cultural buildings to social housing, and Ruchika Modi, managing principal of POW, Practice for Architecture and Urbanism, whose extremely varied practice ranges from planning and design of large multi-use developments to a major expansion of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. I'm pleased to now present the 5 awardees who earned the Blue Ribbon for Design Excellence. Our first awardee and Blue Ribbon winner is the all-electric building, The Rise, located in Brooklyn, New York, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. Characteristics that earned The Rise a Design Excellence Award for exceptional design include the relationship of the building to its context. It very successfully takes cues from its complex site at a complicated intersection. The building's adaptation to site also produced a variety of individual unit plans. The treatment of the overall form, which was masterfully composed. The mass of the building is not overwhelming to the neighborhood. The large windows providing residents with lots of light. Achieving this can be a challenge in a building that depends on the facade for energy efficiency performance and follows the passive house approach. The effective use of the roof, including gardens and a greenhouse, to create opportunities for physical activity and recreation for residents. And lastly, the Rise will be a future home to justice-involved individuals and their families. The design prioritized attributes that achieve a trauma-informed design, which demonstrate careful attention to the needs of its residents, including safety, well-being, and healing. Here to accept the awards are the developer for the Rise, Xenolith Partners LLC, represented by Chris LeBron, and the design team lead, Magnuson Architecture and Planning PC, represented by Julie Chu, with energy consulting provided by Bright Power. Congratulations to you all. The second round 2 awardee and blue ribbon winner is DEKALB Commons, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. DEKALB Commons, also located in Brooklyn, is an all-electric building that earned these awards for these characteristics. The 2 buildings that comprise the project across the street from one another are in conversation with each other and create a small precinct, but are still attentive to and generous with their context and surroundings. The conversation between the 2 buildings starts with the treatment of the facades, which are articulated into vertical sections which echo, but in a different syncopation across the street. The design decision to pull the buildings back to create wider sidewalks creates more public space on the street and a buffer for ground floor apartments from the movement on the street. Here to accept the awards are the developer team St. Nick's Alliance, represented by Frank Lang, and the design team at Magnuson Architecture and Planning PC, with energy consulting provided by Bright Power, represented by Sarah Beyer. Congratulations to these teams for their exceptional work. Our next blue ribbon awardee is BETHANY Terraces, which is receiving an $810,840 Buildings of Excellence Award. BETHANY Terrace, an all-electric project located in Brooklyn, New York, earned this distinction because its design process and submission to Buildings of Excellence showed very close attention to context. Rather than replicate the architectural forms of the neighborhood, the designers responded to it in spirit. In particular, the jury noted the appropriateness of the scale of the building to the neighborhood. Also of note, BETHANY Terrace shows an effective use of prefabricated design while maintaining site-specific character, demonstrating how far the modular design and construction market has advanced in recent years. Here to accept the awards are the developer team at Riseboro Community Partnership, Inc., represented by Ryan Cassidy, and lead architect Paul A. Castrucci, Architect PLLC, with energy consulting provided by Zero Energy Design. Congratulations to all of you. Our next blue ribbon awardee is Cooper Park Commons, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. Cooper Park Commons, an all-electric 100% affordable housing development, was selected because, as the jury noted, the design architects used every square inch of available floor area ratio on the site to maximize the provision of affordable housing, and they handled achieving this level of density very well. The jury also noted that the design effectively breaks down the overall mass of the building through features such as a staggered window pattern and offsetting parts of the building volume. Lastly, the design includes effective acknowledgement of the historic building fabric adjacent to the site. Here to accept the awards are the joint developer team of St. Nick's Alliance and the Hudson Companies Incorporated, represented by Michael Olhausen, and the design team lead of Stephen Winter Associates, represented by Dylan Martello, with the architects of record on the project Magnuson Architecture and Planning PC and Architecture Outfit. Congratulations to the Cooper Park Commons team. Our next Blue Ribbon awardee is 76 Building C, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. The project brings triple net zero sustainability, resiliency, and beauty to the South End community in Albany. The 76 Building C is recognized for its architectural quality of lightness, which is unusual in low energy projects in the Albany area, where it's generally assumed that energy efficient projects will have a heavier, more massive feel. The strategies and the holistic approach of the design impressed the jury, including triple net zero goals, extensive gardens on the site, a detailed approach to waste management, attention to movement of pedestrians through the site, and continuation of a perpendicular street through the site as a pedestrian passageway. Here to accept the awards are the developer team at South End Development, LLC, represented by Corey Jones, and lead architectural firm Garrison Architects, represented by James Garrison, with energy consulting provided by Catalytic Consulting. Congratulations, everyone. And I'll send it back to Patrick to introduce the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalie, and congratulations to our first 5 award winners. Now to announce our remaining 9 winners, I'd like to welcome Ilya Azaroff, FAIA. Mr. Azaroff is an architect and associate professor at the CUNY New York City College of Technology and the founding principal of Plus Lab Architect PLLC, whose founding mission is to build resilient capacity and advance goals for a sustainable regenerative future. He is an internationally recognized leader in disaster mitigation, adaptation, resilient planning, and design. Recently, he worked as part of a resilient housing task force under the auspices of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development to create new federal guidance around resilient housing. In addition, he worked with the Alliance for National and Community Resilience and the International Code Council in developing community resilience benchmarking standards. In 2019, he contributed to the hazard mitigation plans for the U.S. Virgin Islands and New York City. He regularly works with city, state, and federal agencies, professional societies, not-for-profits, community groups, and foreign governments on building resilient capacity. His current projects include culturally significant community resilience hubs and regenerative cluster housing developments in several communities across the world. He has worked in the field for over 25 years and is pleased to be serving as the 2021 AIA New York State President. Please join me in welcoming Ilya Azaroff.
Thank you. It's great to be here today. You know, as architects, we strive to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And what better way to accomplish our ethical charge than through creating better buildings? Buildings of Excellence goes well beyond the current standards and strive through innovation to create more sustainable, resilient communities, buildings, and livelihoods for the people and businesses that use them. As an architect and AIA New York State President, I recognize that design is the essential tool to create buildings that are high performance in all aspects of energy use, livability, and resilience. In essence, buildings do not have to look different. They need to perform differently to address the challenges of our time. Furthermore, this NYSERDA competition and its goals are exemplars of where the entire architecture, engineering, and construction industry needs to advance. Buildings of Excellence and the high performance nature of these projects exemplifies how we can address the long-term environmental impacts we are experiencing with climate change. In essence, what we design today is really designing for tomorrow and all points in between. High performance buildings ensure a longevity and a return on investment for the communities where they are located, as well as to the people who occupy them and the investment in those buildings themselves, often lasting for many generations into the future. Creating buildings for a sustainable, resilient future is a goal that every architect should pursue as a minimum standard. Serving on this jury and seeing these projects gives me hope. Hope that these buildings of excellence serve as a benchmark of innovation that quickly become our minimum standard, in effect, raising the floor for every architect to produce buildings of this quality. I further hope that our future innovations, driven by good design, strive to learn from and go beyond these projects to create a blueprint for better living for all of our communities. And now I'll return back to the awards. And our next winning project is Hudson Hill, which is receiving a $1 million award from the Buildings of Excellence. Located in Yonkers, Hudson Hill is a 6-story, 113-unit, new construction, supportive, affordable project for tenants with low to moderate incomes. Hudson Hill will be a highly efficient, all-electric wood frame structure that demonstrates excellent integration of numerous sustainable strategies, including utilizing heat pump technology for domestic hot water, as well as many design features supporting the tenants and resiliency of the building. In particular, it was noted that the lobby and entrance were inviting and welcoming to residents and visitors. All mechanicals will be located on the sixth floor for resiliency, and innovative features include a 115 kilowatt photovoltaic system, low embodied carbon materials, including sheep wool and electric vehicle charging. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at West Hab Incorporated, represented by Andrew Germansky, with the architectural firm of Amy Gross Architects, represented by Amy Gross, with sustainable consulting by Bright Power. Congratulations to the Hudson Hill team. Our next awardee is Johnson Park Green Community Apartments, located in Utica, New York, which is receiving a $1 million Building of Excellence Award. The Johnson Park Green Community Apartments will be a highly efficient, all-electric building and achieve net zero energy performance. The project will meet Passive House Institute of the United States Plus and Leadership in Energy and Environment Design for Homes version 4 performance. The project integrates sustainable heating, ventilating and air conditioning, photovoltaic technologies, and use of induction cooktop stoves. It will use a panelized wall assembly system and has specified low carbon concrete for building foundation and slabs, as well as other materials that will reduce the embodied carbon in the construction process. And here to accept the awards are the developer teams at Rockabill and Johnson Park Center, represented by Niall Murray, and the design team at SWBR Architecture, Engineering, and Landscape Architecture PC, represented by Joe Gibbons. Congratulations to the Johnson Park Green Community Apartments team. Our next awardee is Linden Boulevard Phase 3, located in Brooklyn, New York, which is receiving a $1 million Building of Excellence Award. The Linden Boulevard Phase 3 project will be a highly efficient, all-electric, affordable housing building and is modeling how to achieve 40% better energy savings than current code. This project will include multiple green roofs, garage access to bicycle storage, multiple common space amenities, and will have on-site photovoltaic solar. The building will use heat pump clothes dryers, induction cooktop stoves, and addressed low embodied carbon attributes in detail. The design for Linden Boulevard also took care to include climate resilient design attributes, paying particular attention to flood mitigation, and will follow the Enterprise Green Communities standard. The building is pursuing Enterprise Green Communities certification, and the project team is ecstatic to be part of such an innovative building that will advance energy efficiency and provide residents with a healthy, safe, and comfortable living environment. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at Radisson Development, represented by Jonathan Butler, and design team at Magnuson Architecture and Planning PC, represented by Rachel Simpson. Congratulations to the Linden Boulevard team. Our next winning project is West Side Homes, located in Buffalo, New York, which is receiving a $362,620 Buildings of Excellence Award. Westside Homes will be a highly efficient, all-electric, affordable, multifamily building that will achieve net zero energy performance. The project will provide energy management and tenant feedback reports to give tenants detailed information about their energy use. By coordinating housing and sustainability work, Westside Homes addresses both human and ecosystem health, creates a resilient project that addresses future heat, precipitation, and drought events, and uses renewable energy sources to avoid increased greenhouse gas emissions. Westside Homes will achieve a number of passive house certifications and will be built using panelized wall assemblies with cellulose insulation, ground source heat pumps, and energy recovery ventilation. Westside Homes is engaged in a 4-part assessment to achieve resilient and durability in the final product. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at Buffalo Neighborhood Stabilization Incorporated in association with People United for Sustainable Housing Incorporated. Buffalo, represented by Sarah Berger, and Design Team for Sustainable Comfort Incorporated, represented by Chris Straley. Congratulations to the Westside Homes team. Our next awardee is Court Square. Court Square is located in Long Island City, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. Court Square is what is frequently referred to as a super tall building with 47 stories and 285 dwelling units, as well as commercial space. Court Square will be a highly efficient, all-electric, mixed-use building providing luxury space for commercial and residential use. Being one of the only all-electric super tall buildings in existence, the project includes a design approach with cooling tower and electric heat pumps and window shading that is unique. There's also a potable rooftop water source system to enhance resiliency, and a terracotta panelized rain screen and emergency generators that are sized to create various areas of refuge within the building. And here to accept the awards are the joint developer team at Charney Companies and Tavros Capital, represented by Sam Charney, and design team lead of Edinger Engineering Associates, represented by Ed Edinger. Congratulations, Court Square team. Our next winner is Great Oaks Mixed Use Eco Park, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. Building 150 will be a 5-story multifamily building providing 96 market rate residential units with robust amenities, constructed on underutilized landscape and parking areas at the existing Great Oaks Office Park in Albany, New York. By maximizing on-site solar PV and the benefits of planned multiple passive house certifications, Building 150 satisfies a demand for modern, transit-oriented, market rate housing uniquely enhanced by the efficiency, ecology, health, and comfort benefits of high-performance net zero energy construction. Particularly relevant post-COVID-19, the airtight envelope coupled with continuous filtration ventilation achieves higher levels of indoor environmental quality. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at Rosenblum Companies, represented by Jeff Murrell, and design team at Revision Architecture, represented by Drew Levine. Congratulations to Great Oaks team. Our next awardee is SOLARA Phase 3, which is receiving a $750,000 Buildings of Excellence Award. SOLARA Phase 3 will include 3 net zero, low carbon, low rise residential apartment buildings with 24 units each. The project also builds upon SOLARA's Round 1 design to include low embodied carbon improvements to the overall design. Reductions to embodied carbon include reduced use of foam by replacing foam with dense packed cellulose within a double stud wall assembly, combined with reduced carbon gypsum board. This project not only achieves net zero energy performance and extremely low embodied carbon, but achieves these levels of performance at an excellent value of $106 per square foot. SOLARA also intends to rely on an all-in rental model, making rent and operational costs very affordable and predictable for residents, but also providing occupants with several amenities, including access to 24 free-to-use electric vehicle charging stations. SOLARA uses solar thermal for domestic hot water production in combination with heat pump water heaters, which is a unique market solution. And here to accept the award is the developer team at Bruns Realty Corp. LLC, Group LLC, represented by David Bruns, and design team lead of Black Mountain Architecture, represented by Jesse Schwartzberg. Congratulations to the SOLARA team. Our next winner is BAIRD Road Apartments, located in Parrington, New York, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. Pathstone's proposed BAIRD Road Apartments is a 76-unit apartment building for seniors as part of a larger development that will use air source heat pumps, shared energy recovery ventilation, shared heat pump water heaters, and roof-mounted solar, making the project fossil fuel-free. The project achieves net zero energy performance through multiple passive house and energy standards. Additionally, the project prioritizes the use of low carbon materials and emphasizes resiliency with the inclusion of battery storage for demand control and backup systems. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at Pathstone Corporation, represented by Robert Kane, and design team at Sustainable Comfort Incorporated, represented by James Moriarty. Congratulations to the BAIRD Road Apartments team. Our last, but certainly not least, awardee is Colonial 2 Apartments, located in Rome, New York, which is receiving a $1 million Buildings of Excellence Award. This project is a gut rehab and reuse of an existing building, resulting in a highly efficient, all-electric multifamily housing project. This gut renovation project will involve establishment of a tighter thermal envelope, addition of LED lighting fixtures, installation of high-efficient equipment, and thermostat upgrades for each apartment. The apartments provide housing for some of the city's most vulnerable residents, senior citizens, and adults with disabilities. When complete, this project will support the development of an attractive, sustainable, resilient, and energy efficient building that will continue to remain affordable for another 50 years. And here to accept the awards are the developer team at Beacon Community Service LLC, represented by Duncan Barrett, and the design team lead New Ecology Incorporated, represented by Ashley Weesey. Congratulations to the Colonial 2 Apartments team. And now back to Patrick to bring us home.
Congratulations to all the winners. All of the projects awarded here today are outstanding architectural designs, improve that carbon neutral buildings can be affordable, healthy, resilient, and aesthetically pleasing, no more ugly, while achieving superb levels of energy performance. It is clear that you and your teams have invested extraordinary thought and resources to create designs that push the boundaries of what is possible for sustainable buildings and move us closer to a clean energy future. We look forward to working with the winners and seeing these exciting projects completed and occupied. We encourage everyone here today to visit our website for a full list of all the round 1 and round 2 winners, as well as project renderings and the specific attributes of buildings. Buildings of Excellence is more than just an award ceremony. It's a perpetual movement to revolutionize how we construct buildings, creating flourishing communities and a high quality of life for residents. We are here to partner with you and encourage you to reach out to us, share your ideas and vision, and in turn, we will help you get involved and give you the tools to spark change in your company and community as we move towards a brighter future for all. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, Acting President and CEO Doreen Harris, Yvette Brissette Andre, Rosalie Ginevro, Ilya Azaroff, and all of the attendees for being with us here today. Thank you.